when Bible said, my grace is sufficient for you, there is something inside me or a stubborn part of me saying, meaning, how about in my eyes is not sufficient, but in your eyes, Lord, is sufficient. When we hear that in the scripture, when God says, my grace is sufficient for you, we always think that, sufficient means you will have plenty, you will be so happy, you will have more than enough, pressed down, shaken together, or whatever, and your life would be so easy because the Lord said it's sufficient. No. I think we just need to ask the Lord to really help us to understand what does it mean when He says something is sufficient. That doesn't mean it's enough for us, but it's sufficient for us. We think sufficient is enough, but sufficient is sufficient. In my eyes, almost nothing is enough. I'm a human. Never enough, never enough, but ever sufficient. What He granted us is ever sufficient. This came to me, I'm saying it, but that doesn't mean completely I believe it, but I can see it. But to my heart, I would say to a degree I believe it, but I need to ask the Lord to enable me to really walk in it. To know what He granted me is sufficient. The neighborhood that He granted me, the country He granted me, the job He granted me, the family He granted me, the look He granted me, the finances He granted me, the path He granted me is sufficient. It is sufficient. I just wanted to share that. This is not something, it's not a message, it's a window that we could ask the Lord to help us to look through. What does it mean when He says, my grace is sufficient for you? What does it mean when you look at your life and you say, you know what? It's not enough. He's not giving me enough. But you know what? Maybe we shouldn't look at the things that they are whether enough or not, but whether they are sufficient or not. But you know what? When the Lord gives us anything, it is sufficient. Why? Because He lives in us. Why? Because His grace is sufficient. And that should be enough for us. That's all.